Namaskaram. Thank you for asking me to say a few words on this topic of Sanātana Dharma. I know this follows the discussion on some of the recent controversies about some statement with the intent of somehow they can dig the root of Sanātana and throw it away. Is it something possible at all? Now, this naivety is not necessarily, I would say, in complete disgust towards that. Maybe it is ignorance, maybe it is not realizing what they're saying and what they meant to say. I don't know. So the alignment of understanding of what the terms Sanātana and Sanātana Dharma together as an expression means is very important to reflect upon. So in that respect, I will make it a very brief extempore within my limited understanding so that you can contemplate and take it forward. Gurubhyo Namaha. Today, the term Sanātana is sometimes used carelessly and at times even maliciously in public discourses, in certain political circles, especially in parts of India, including Tamil Nadu. The word Sanātana is deliberately misrepresented in order to provoke emotions surrounding historical social injustices and thereby secure a temporary political advantage. But in doing so, we risk throwing away not merely a word, but one of humanity's deepest spiritual inheritances. To reject Sanātana entirely because of historical distortions would be like setting fire to one's own home out of an anger of a smoke. It would mean losing access to a vast treasury of universal wisdom that has guided the humanity for millennia. So it is essential for us to understand clearly what is Sanātana, what is Sanātana Dharma, and why it has become a misunderstood factor. Only with that understanding we can separate truth from falsehood, wisdom from a propaganda, and universal good from temporary political mischief. So what does Sanātana mean? The Sanskrit term Sanātana means eternal, timeless, perpetual, universal, beginningless, endless, ever fresh. All that is possible if and only if. What can be ever fresh? Only that which can be eternally true. Eternally means in all space and times. It does not undergo change, decay. It remains as it is forever. It refers to that which exists beyond the limitations of time, geography, race, language, or political identity. What could be that? This is the miracle of the esoteric knowledge that is contained in the Vedas to reveal to us that eternal truth is the existence. The existence becomes enlivened when the existence is consciously be aware. Therefore, that is the consciousness. the existence, consciousness, and that is eternally blissful because there is nothing else to desire upon, because it is all pervading Paripurnatvam. That is Sanatana. Now, to take us to that wonderful, universally unchanging truth, the Vedas in the Vedic tradition gives us certain methods, process, procedures, the way of living contained in what is called Dharma. So the term Dharma is also very profound. Dharma is not merely a religion in a narrow modern sense. Dharma refers to the principles that sustain harmonious living, individually, socially, morally, spiritually. So you can take it as a framework for righteous living in this life and beyond this life. So the question comes about, is there a life beyond this life? Is not death ending it? If death is ending our existence, it cannot be Sanatana. No, your life does not end, but it transfers from one embodiment to another. Therefore, there is a life beyond this embodied living. You call it reincarnation or whatever. That perpetual cycle of birth and death is inevitable until such time you want to get liberated from that cycle of birth and death. So therefore, the Sanatana, the perpetual yatra, the travel of the life, is what is meant by a dharmic life. So Dharma, therefore, becomes an eternal roadmap that guides us towards the lasting well-being and harmony across all our existences. Therefore, Sanātana Dharma means the eternal Dharma, the timeless principle that guide all humanity towards truth, harmony, compassion, happy embodied living, and of course, the ultimate spiritual realization that there is no difference at all. As people live by these principles in different lands and cultures, traditions naturally evolve, the customs differ, the languages differ, the rituals differ. But the underlying Sanatana Dharma lasts as fresh as ever. The Vedas, the scriptural text that we consider as the basis of Sanatana Dharma, contains this knowledge. But please do understand, Vedas do not speak of a sectarian religion. In the Vedas, there is no word called Hinduism. The word Hindu itself derived, inferred, imposed by late civilization to denote a geographical settings or a living by a riverside. But this word Sanatana appears throughout in all Shruti, that is Vedas, Smritis, they are the texts that reverberate the Vedic knowledge, like Bhagavad Gita, Itikasas like Ramayana and Mahabharatas, and lots of Puranic literature. They all have the phrase Sanatana to denote the eternality of it. Rigveda, for example, says, Ekam Sat Vipra Bhagudha Vadanti. That means the truth is one. The wise describes as many ways. It's not a profound declaration. Not it is my truth alone, not one prophet alone, not one Messiah, not one path, nothing. The truth is one, but expressed through many paths. This is not sectarianism. This is spiritual universality. Atharvana Veda, for example, it talks about truth cosmic order, spiritual discipline, austerity, wisdom, and sacrifice, these uphold the world. It clearly states the Sanātanam persists because truth, a cosmic order, spiritual discipline, austerity, wisdom, sacrifice. It is not a membership to a particular group. So same way, the Upanishads are the essence of the Vedas. They go even deeper. They declare that beneath all these apparent differences, there lies one universal consciousness, which is Sanatana. Just got an example in the Katha Upanishad. He said the enlightened self is never born, nor does it die. Same in Shvetashwara Upanishad, for example, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam, the eternal among the eternal, the conscious among the conscious. You see, the subtlety of our own nature is revealed here. Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, Nityos Nityanam. Whatever is eternal, among that is an eternal. I think the daytime I'm waking up, I am present in this daytime. Then I go through the dream state. I am a dreamer there. I am in a deep sleep as a sleeper there. But in this awakened state, dream state, and sleep state, in everything else, I exist. Nityo Nityana. I am the conscious awareness of all this. Chetanas Chetanana. I know the knowledge, I know the ignorance. I know, I don't know. You see, the awareness is there. Sanatana. Na jayate priyate vapsi. It's like that. The Upanishad again talks about the Sanatana, which is the underlying ultimate essence of our existence. In Bhagavad Gita, in the chapter 11, it says, Tvam aksharam paramam veditvayam, Tvam asya vishvasya paramam nidhanam, Tvam avyayaka shashvata dharma gopta sanātanastvam purasto matomi. You are the imperishable, the supreme reality to be known. You are the ultimate support of the universe. You are the protector of the eternal Dharma. You are the eternally supreme person, Sanatana Purusha. This is Arjuna worshipping to the Lord. But what the words come out is what he sees as the Lord is the eternal truth. But God is going to turn him back and say, what are you seeing as eternal truth is the eternality that is in you, that is you. Tattvamasi, you are that eternal thing, Sanatana. So Sasvata Dharma, Sanatana, these words clearly tells you that it is. In fact, in the 15th chapter, Bhagavan says, Mamaivamsho jivo loke jiva bhutaha sanatanaha. What he's saying, the embodied soul in this world is my eternal part, eternal fragment. That means the awareness that you see, that you have inside you, the consciousness in you, is none other than myself. So the word Sanatana, therefore, refers to the eternal nature of the self, universally, not tribally, not sectarianly. Notice carefully, the soul is described as eternal, not belonging to one race, one caste, one language, one nationality. This teaching is universal. So to give that profound knowledge to us, the ethics, the universal ethics in the Sanātana Dharma gives you the moral values. It gives you a moral value in two different planes. It gives you on an ordinary plane, and call it a Samanya Dharma. That means the Dharma by which you lead your life. All of us, what are they? like Satyam Vada, Dharmaha Sanātanaha in Mahabharata. It says, Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha, Dharmam Chara, don't lie, don't cheat, be truthful, Priyam Vada, speak the nice words, kindly speak. So all this universal morality, value systems, it's called Samanya Dharma. Vedas talks about it, but it does not necessarily have to have its existence in us because we know these things. Inherently, we know these are the values because I don't want anybody to lie to me. This is everybody will say this. That means lying is not what you want. Therefore, you have to follow what you think that others should do to you. That is Samanya Dharma. Even a robber who wants a partner in his crime, he wants to make sure his partner is truthful to him, is it not? He will say, please, let's go and loot this place, but don't take it away from me. Be truthful. So inherently, our nature is to be truthful, kind. This is Samanya Dharma. Then there is a Vishesha Dharma. What is Vishesha Dharma? Because as a human being you have your own context changes. You are a small baby, a student, a family man, a retired man, a old person, a renunciated person. So you go through different life stages for you. Therefore, according to your capacity, according to lifestyle you're chosen, on different life stages, you have different ways of following the disciplines. Is it not? Therefore, it is called ashrama dharma. Ashrama means abode, a boundary. So I am a student. Therefore, it's called a brahmacharya dharma. As a student, you follow this. Respect the teachers. Always study. Don't indulge in physical pleasures. A lot of these good things. For that, you focus on your growth. Then you become family man. Grihastha dharma. Illaram in Tamil. There you do your family life. Earn money. Take care of your family. Protect your family. Give it to others. Do charity. Vanaprastham is your retirement life. Then sannyasam. So if you live in this context, then you follow this. It's good for you. Now, then if I am not only by myself, because I live with the world, I have a relationship with everybody else. There is a dharma needed, how I conduct myself. What am I to society? Am I going to be a valor person who stand up in front of the enemies, protect my community? Am I willing to even sacrifice my life to protect others? If I am, well, you have a great virtue. You are called a Kshatriya. You follow this dharma. You are allowed to learn about this art of defending yourself, art of fighting, even to kill others, to protect others. And because you're sacrificing your life for others, you have a luxurious living. You are allowed to do that. So you have an administrative class of people who are willing to even sacrifice themselves, and they follow dharma, Kshatriyas. Some say, look, I am not going to sacrifice myself, but I will work hard. I will create wealth. I will transact wealth so that everybody can have money. Everybody can live comfortably. I run businesses. I give employments. Then you do that. You are a Vaishya. A Vaishya dharma is there for you. Or someone says, well, you need somebody to really monitor this dharma. Let me learn this dharma, live by this dharma, teach others the dharma. I will keep on going around the society and say, make sure everybody is dharmically reading life. Can I do that? Yes, you can do that. If you have the capacity to read all this, retain in your memory, that means you have to commit your whole life. You need a simple life. Then you are a Brahmin. You have that ashram, and that varna. So if you take up these rules, then there is a ritual there. As a mark of the ritual, in India, they wear a thread. In Christianity, they may have something else, so that ritual is a transformation to say you take a second birth. Dvijaha. You have second birth. Why second birth? What is my first birth? My first birth is like everybody say, no dharma, no knowledge, no commitment to do anything. So what are you called? You're called Shudra. That means you are a raw material. You can be shaped to anything else. Those who take up this divine vow to follow the Dharma, they take these three categories, Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, and they follow the Dharma. Those do not commit to this formality, they remain as a Shudra, but you help the others. You enjoy the life. There is nothing different, nothing low, high, upper, lower. Absolutely not. Your chosen lifestyle and your life context. This is Varna Ashrama and Varna Dharma and Ashrama Dharma. So, a great warrior who's the king, naturally his inborn, his lineage also follow the same ambience. Then the king's son becomes the king. A goldsmith's son becomes a goldsmith. A priest's son becomes a priest. Somehow the natural conditioning is easier in a traditional family life. Therefore, the family started adopting to the ashrama dharma as if it is by birth. Again, there is no jati there. Jati was never in this Vedas. So varnas are there. Varnas are division of labor. But then, naturally, imperfection fall into this. It is why Sanātana Dharma being criticized. This is an important and honest question. If Sanātana Dharma teaches universality and spiritual equality, why is it often associated with social discrimination and caste injustices? The answer to this question lies in understanding the difference between the eternal philosophical principles and the historical social practices. The earliest vision of Vedas and Upanishad of Sanātana Dharma is largely emphasizing the truth, justice, compassion, harmony, and ultimately the realization of the self. The Maha Upanishad beautifully says this in one phrase, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. The same thing in Tamil we have Yavum Ure Yavarum Kelir. The Bhagavad Gita says, the wise see with equal vision of the learned person. A cow, an elephant, a dog, anybody is seen as an equal person. So this is among the most egalitarian spiritual statements found anywhere in any world literature. There is no other text in the world gives you such a profound statements, assertions than in the Vedas. But the problem of social hierarchy, this is very important to understand. Historically, like any society in the world, even the Indian society gradually developed into hereditary privileges. And from there, based on the regions, the caste rigidity, social exclusion, and some distorted form of cleanliness become untouchability. So what may once have begun as a functional social organization hardened over centuries into a birth-based dogmatic hierarchy. I think this was nourished because it gave opportunity to the concentration of power, economic control, political instability, and some human attachment to the power status. But this is not something belong only to India. Every civilization has struggled with this inequality in different forms. Because these injustices within societies identifying themselves with the Sanatana traditions, critics come to associate the injustice as if inborn in the Sanatana Dharma itself. They have no right to do that. the scriptural ideals and the human failures had to be contrasted. We must ask very honestly, should the eternal principles be judged by their highest teachings or by the failures of imperfect societies? What is that we should take? The scriptures taught unity. Human beings often practice division. The scriptures taught compassion. Societies sometimes practiced exclusion. This contradiction exists in almost every civilization and religions across history. That is why many reformers come up, especially, this is, I could say, within my limited knowledge, exclusively in Sanātana Dharma, rise to challenge injustice and reform. The great Shankara Bhagavad Padar, or the Adi Shankaracharya, who challenged many interpretations. The Buddha challenged, of course. Buddha challenged the blind follow of rituals. But the Buddhist followers forgot Buddha's actual teaching and they started naysaying to all the Vedantic dharmas. Then Shankara came up and re-established the Sanātana Dharma for its true spirit, which includes societal living, harmony, worshipping gods, following certain patterns of living to lead peace and harmony in the world, but ultimately leading to Vedanta, the realization of Sanatana. Of course, Ramanujacharya, Basavana, Kabir Das, Sri Narayana Guru, Subramanya Bharati, Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Ambedkar, all those, some reformed, some protested and let go, some radically challenged within the system and readjusted. So you see, this constant change and refinement is not the weakness, the most strength of Sanatana Dharma. That's why it's called Sanatana, perpetually fresh, because it's perpetually refined. Truth cannot be changed. Truth is one. But the way to approach the truth, when it is nourished and somehow amplified by cultural biases, language biases, all other human biases, that needs to be challenged and reformed. But not stupidly saying that the whole Dharma is wrong and I need to eradicate that. That is insanely stupidity. Even today, if you look at the Sanatana Dharma text, all these Upanishad, Vedas, Puranas, Yogas, Bhakti tradition, they continue to affirm the divinity in all beings and the unity of consciousness in all beings, compassion to all. Self-realization is a right. It's not just a privilege for some knowledgeable, scholastic gurus and acharyas. No. Self-realization is your birthright. Service to humanity is your duty because it brings harmony to all life. So the eternal vision remains alive. Therefore, when we speak of Sanatana, we are not speaking merely a label or a sectarian identity. We are speaking of an eternal truth, a universal moral order, a timeless spiritual wisdom, and an eternal search for harmony between humanity and the universal cosmos. Yes, I agree that society is shaped by these traditions, developed by historical injustices sometimes. But those realities must be acknowledged honestly, corrected courageously. But you can do all that only when you hold on to the true spirit of Sanatana Dharma. Because the very root, if you destroy, there is no rescue. But the answer to the human failure cannot be the destruction of the eternal wisdom. The true spirit of Sanatana Dharma lies not in division, but in unity. Not in oppression, but in upliftment. not in hatred, but seeing in the same divine reality in all beings. That is Sanātana, that is Dharma. And that is why its message remains relevant not merely to the community, but to all humanity. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.